Hi, my name is Amber Stonebreaker. I'm a member of the Tasty 4-H Club, and I've been in 4-H for about 7 or 8 years, and today I'm giving a presentation on first aid. So the importance of first aid is so if you're out and about and get a cut or scrape, you can fix it up really quickly without having to worry about infection. Or if you're having to cut yourself at home, you can just patch it up and again, you don't have to worry about infection. Or if you get a more serious injury, it can provide you with a quick fix to get yourself to the hospital. So in my first aid kit that I carry around, I have ointment and itch cream and Band-Aids and then gauze pads, alcohol pads, and gauze. It's just a simple first aid kit. So what you would use that stuff for is different types of things. So you can use the Band-Aids to cover a small cut, or you could use the gauze to cover a deeper cut, or for a temporary wrap if you sprain your wrist, ankle, anything. The alcohol prep pad will clean it so you don't get infection. You can also keep gauze pads, which you can put on to cover a bigger cut that doesn't really need gauze. A lot of people don't carry first aid kits because they think it's too expensive, but it's actually really cheap. Band-Aids are around $2, gauze is around like $3 depending on what size you buy. Ointment is around like $5 depending on the size tube you buy. It's just different prices, but it's all really cheap. Another type of first aid are first aid plans. You should always have a plan in case of a fire where your family should meet up. If you have a babysitter, you should leave them a plan of what to do if you have like an emergency so they can contact those people. And you should always know the numbers of the fire department and police department. So now I've made some scenarios to show you what you should do. So my first scenario is you and a friend go skating, and it's an old sidewalk with like a lot of bumps and cracks and holes, and one of you falls, and neither of you are wearing your knee pads. What should you do? So the first thing you should do is stop the bleeding. If you let it bleed and bleed and bleed, you'll bleed out, but not really. The second thing you should do is wash it out with just water or something. And then wash it with antiseptic wash if it's a scrape, but if it's a cut, you can wash it once with antiseptic wash and then be done with it. A scrape, you should wash it like a couple times. A scrape you should leave uncovered for a while so it can breathe and start to heal. If it's cut, cover it with a Band-Aid after you put ointment on it. So the second scenario is a 4th of July barbecue. So you are at a 4th of July barbecue and the food is super good and everyone else thinks so too, and you just can't get enough of it. Well, someone else wants the same, and all of a sudden you hear choking to the right side of you, and you look over and they're choking. You're the closest person to them, so what should you do? You always want to stay calm in all of these situations, but especially this one, because if you're not calm, then they're definitely not going to be calm. Yell for help, call 911, and if you call 911, they'll walk you through the next step. The next step is to do the Heimlich maneuver. So to do the Heimlich maneuver, you want to put your fist above your belly button and cover your fist, if it's yourself, and then thrust up. If it's on another person, you'll hug around the back of them and do the same motion. For a baby, though, you're going to pat them 5 times on the back and then do that motion. Alright, so the last scenario is you and a group of friends are playing soccer, and one of your friends takes off running down the field and trips and falls in a hole. When you get closer, it looks like their ankle is sprained. What should you do? You should follow the RICE plan. The first R, the R stands for rest it. Don't let them get up and walk on it. It will only create further damage. The I stands for ice. Icing will help reduce the swelling and pain. C is for compression. You want to take an elastic Band-Aid and wrap it around the sprained whatever, ankle, wrist, whatever it may be in the situation. and that will also help with swelling. And the last C is elevate. Gravity will work wonders for your swelling. So now are some true and false. You can just think in your head if it would be true or false. So if you have a nosebleed, you should tilt your head backwards and pinch. That's actually false. If you tilt your head backwards, you might have your blood run down into your throat and choke you, creating a whole nother problem. So what you want to do is tilt your head down, pinch for 10 minutes, and then, only then, should you look. So for burns, an old thing was to put butter on them. So that's actually false. Butter will only create further damage maybe, and it makes it way harder to treat for the doctors, so don't put butter on your burn. So for choking, the Heimlich maneuver is always necessary. That's false. The Heimlich maneuver is only necessary if the victim's airway is fully blocked. So if they're talking, or if it looks like they can cough it up, then let them cough it up. Don't do the Heimlich maneuver because it will only create further damage. So for a snake bite, you should cover the bite. That's actually true. A lot of people, especially around here, think you should cut it and then cover it. You don't want to cut it. It will only create further damage down the line. So for blisters, a thought is that you should break the blister. Everyone's like, well, break your blister if you have a blister. And that's false. Breaking the blister will only let the underlying skin further damage. So if you break it, the underlying skin that's under it can get cut or get an infection. So now I'm going to show you how to wrap a wrist. One other person. So to wrap a wrist, you always want to anchor it. Have them put their hand out straight. You always want to anchor it behind their thumb and then let them hold it so you can wrap it without having to worry about it. If they can't hold it, then it's easy to do. It's 2 hands. It just makes it easier this way. So you want to wrap around their wrist very tightly so that they can't make any movement, because if they can move it, they can further damage it. And usually you want to use a thicker gauze, but if this is all you have, it will work too. So then after you've wrapped a few times around the wrist, you want to move up and at least go up to around the pinky knuckle. And then you can just anchor it with some fabric tape, or you can, if it's loose enough, stick it in. And that's how you wrap a wrist. Thanks. And I've got any questions, but thank you.